What's one next step I know to take but have been avoiding? Let the answer rise up through you. Don't analyze it. That's the left brain. Let it rise up through you. Let it float to the top. This is you showing up for you. It isn't going to be loud, but it will have a quiet surety to it. It'll have a quiet confidence to it. You don't have to wait for certainty. That's overthinking. When you're like, well, I need to know for certain. Nope, that's your brain overthinking. Well, welcome to Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm Vicki Baird, your host and wisdom-led mindset coach. This podcast is where intuition meets strategy and mindset meets meaning. I help smart, successful humans stop overthinking and start trusting their inner wisdom, because your clarity, self-surety, and next level life are already within you. With over 2 decades of coaching experience, a knack for systems, and a gift for spotting what's off, be it a saboteur thought or an out-of-alignment choice, I'm here to help you connect your brilliant brain with your soul's knowing. You'll get grounded insights, little humor, and real-life tools to create change that actually sticks, like your go-to morning brew, familiar, grounding, and the nudge you didn't know you needed. And I love coffee, so that works too. Well, hi there. Welcome to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm Vicki, and I am going to bust a myth today. This episode is going to be real talk. It's going to be intuitive coach meets wise girlfriend. I hope that you will hear in this absolutely no judgment from me. I want to empower you and weave, some positive intelligence, but also your soul connection throughout. Here it is. Here's it straight to the point. No one's coming to save you. No one is going to show up on their seat and carry you out. No one's coming to save you. But it's not a tragedy. It's actually your freedom. It might sound harsh at first, but it's one of the most freeing things you'll hear today, that no one is coming. There is no magic pill. Stop ordering everything off TikTok Shop. There is no perfect partner. Anyone who's been in a relationship long enough knows that. Because we aren't perfect. It's not possible. There is no all-knowing mentor. And that's amazing news, isn't it? I have had people say to me, but Vicki, you know everything. No, I do not. I am human. I am learning right along with you. It just so happens that I've learned some of this stuff, maybe a decade or two previously, and that's why I bring it to you. It's all good, but no one is coming to save you. And this episode is for the part of you that's been waiting, quietly hoping someone else would step in and fix it. And I know this for sure because I have felt this myself. I have felt this when it comes to emptying the dehumidifier, because we've been soggy here in New York. The dehumidifier is still running. So I have felt this when I'm like, that's all right. Mike will get it later. And I'm like, no, this is your house too. And that's that conditioned response that someone else will do it. I hope to give you not only a truth check, but a mindset reset and maybe just a little bit of a soul nudge. I want you to understand that, yeah, we all get stuck and you'll get stuck. But if you know you're stuck, you're not really stuck. When someone comes to me for coaching and they say, I just feel so stuck, I'm like, congratulations. Because if you were really stuck, someone would have to say to you, man, you're stuck. You need to move forward. You need to get out of your own way. All those other statements that tend to come with that. So there is a subtle conditioning that's happened for us. And I want to say, most especially for women, that someone is going to come save us. Disney movies be damned. Like, they're a lot of the messaging, plus also that a man will save you if any of you are of a certain age. I'm grateful my parents didn't say this out loud, but it was definitely there in the undercurrents. Wait till your father gets home and things like that. But in childhood, oftentimes we are conditioned to wait for something. Just wait. Something will happen. Something will fix it. So When you're older, it'll make sense. Anybody been told that? In the media, there is that messaging that took over from Disney or from childhood, that someone always comes to save the day. There's always a hero. Thankfully, there's a heroine as well in some of the writing now. But there's also spiritual bypassing. The universe will deliver. Even when I was teaching classes, especially when I was teaching classes on manifestation, if I heard this statement, I would do the timeout sign that no. The universe is not going to deliver. It's not this force outside of yourself that's waiting around until you get to a certain point and then it would deliver. It's the synchronistic events that happen and the energy that, yes, does pull opportunities towards you, but you got to get your butt up off the couch in order to do that. You have to show up too. So if you are one who's saying, well, why is the universe doing this to me? Or I'll just wait until that opportunity presents itself. Well, then that opportunity likely won't present itself and we'll be having the same conversation in 6 months. You have to do something to move you forward or to move the situation forward. And then on top of that, we also have the judge that keeps whispering, you can't do this alone. You don't know how to do this. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, what are you even thinking taking that on? So we have those inner saboteurs and they thrive when you're passive. Absolutely thrive. They're like little yeast that come alive when you put warm water on them. They absolutely love when we sit back and take a pass on things or choose to ignore or avoid. So the real talk right now, waiting might seem comforting, but it's a delay tactic that's just dressed as fake. So what I mean by that is the universe will provide, something will happen. I have faith. That's the other thing. I have faith. We can have faith. We can have belief and we can absolutely celebrate that. But do that because you've moved your you-know-what and that you've written that email or you've reached out to someone or you wrote that blog post or you took that walk or you drank the water. Waiting is deceptive and it doesn't help you to create. It just helps you to bury some emotions. And intuition doesn't wait. I was just speaking with someone yesterday and in a session, really helping her to develop her intuition. And I said to her, when that feeling comes in that you just can't ignore and you are trying to ignore it, but it feels like, to me, it always feels like there's this big hand, like picture the Rock's hand or something at my back that's pushing me forward saying, this is what you need to do. So that's intuition. It moves. Intuition will have you make a decision in the moment. Again, like I've said in previous episodes, it's hard to hear your intuition or to perceive it or to receive it if there's a lot of clutter going on. So where in your life, ask yourself this, where am I in my life? Am I waiting for a rescue I really secretly know isn't coming? Am I waiting for that person to change before I decide this relationship's not for me? Am I waiting for my boss to get a clue that we need help before I realize there's got to be a position out there that lights me up more so than this? Write it down. Write it down. Get it in this realm. Circle it and breathe it. Like breathe. Because you know what, my friend? This is your responsibility. And it's your power. It feels amazing to take responsibility for our lives. Call it radical ownership. It's a sacred process that when we take responsibility for our life, it really does light you up inside. It feels so good to take responsibility. People are often surprised. Like if I do something say I messed it up, screwed it up, whatever, they're often surprised when I say, "Oh, I did that. That was me." And they look at me like, "What? You're copping to it?" Well, yeah. How are we going to solve it? How am I going to learn? How am I going to feel good about myself if I'm not taking responsibility for my own actions, my soul, and my decisions? And this truth is your spiritual freedom. It really is. No one is coming, and that is an invitation to your soul to say, let's do this thing. Let's partner this lifetime. It's not to the exclusion of others. It's simply to say, I've got this. I'll figure this out. I remember there was a time, having a flashback to this moment, so I'll share it. Right after my husband had passed, I was taking apart a weight machine that he said he was going to use. I didn't want, and I was taking it apart, and I couldn't find the socket wrench that I needed because the man never put his tools back. And I hadn't gotten to that part of organizing yet. And as I started to go into it, what I can recognize now as the voice of my inner judge or my inner critic, it said, you can't do this. You don't know how to do mechanical stuff. And I stood, I was the only one in the house, thankfully, but I put my foot down and I said, you know what? I got the same gray matter he had. His gray matter got trained in this. Mine did not. I'm going to train my brain in this, and I will figure out how to take this apart. And I did. And carried it all out, gave it away, and felt good about that. No one was coming then to help me take that apart. But I showed up for myself in that moment, mostly through grief and anger and frustration and being really pissed off that this voice said I couldn't do it. And that was an invitation, I feel like, for my whole self to show up, to say, no matter what it is, Vicki, just find the socket wrench. All you have to do is find the socket wrench. You should make t-shirts, just find the socket wrench. You are the author. There's no doubt about that. You get to choose how your life is written and what chapter you're in and what page you're on, even in the chapter. And that empowerment, that responsibility, it is not about blame. It's not about, oh, you didn't take responsibility, 2 years ago when you screwed up your credit, or you didn't take responsibility when you got into that relationship that was very much like the first relationship. That's learning process. It's not about blame. It's about reclaiming your power and recognizing that I don't want to do that again. I do not want to feel the disbelief in myself. And I know every one of us feel that. You know when you're lying to yourself. Everybody can tap into that. Some may be able to push it further down so it doesn't hit their empathy section or it doesn't hit their accountability part. There's this practice called Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian practice that is deceptively simple and deeply transformative. I had forgotten about it, and then I was reminded about it. Thank you, Natalie. And that brought it all back to me again. I had done it years ago and forgotten. So it has 4 phrases. It's, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You are saying this to yourself. You're not saying it to others, although I have extended it to others in a way to clear energy. When I'm thinking, like, for instance, if I've not shown up completely for someone in the way I want to in my relationship, or, even as a coach, I will say this usually as I'm walking, and I'll just hold their image in my heart and be like, I'm saying it to them. It likely that there isn't a conversation where I need to say these things to them, but it just feels so good. And I use it to not wallow in any beating up of myself. It's a form of PQ rep, also a form of meditation. It's a gentle, sacred process of taking responsibility for your part in any situation. So I'm sorry for where I've ignored my knowing. Please forgive me for abandoning my inner wisdom. Thank you to life for this moment of clarity. I love you, to myself, to the experience, and to the healing. So maybe you could do that as part of this ownership of your life and taking responsibility. Pick a situation where you've been waiting on someone else or timing, clarity. Just say these 4 words to yourself. You could do it quietly. You could do it in your head. More powerful if you do it out loud. Do it slowly. You're not taking on anyone else's stuff. You're calling your energy back to yourself. You're using this as a focusing mechanism, but also a clearing. It will clear energy in your work field. It will clear energy in your etheric field. It will just kind of set things to right so that you feel that, all right, I might not know what to do, but I take responsibility for what is right in front of me right now. I really believe to every essence of my cells in my soul and my body that if it's in my life, I am somewhat responsible for how it goes. So if I keep experiencing the same behavior from people, how am I drawing that in? What am I doing? I'm not responsible for their behavior, but I'm drawing it into my life somehow. And I may not want that. I am a very low drama girl. I don't want all of this complaining and not seeing solution or not taking responsibility. So it's important when you do this that you recognize that your left brain and your saboteurs may want to say, see, I take responsibility and other people don't. That is not the point here. We are recognizing that no one is coming to save each of us individually. No one is there to make our lives be something other than we are responsible for. Your soul chose you. You're responsible for your life. And the judge saboteur loves to assign blame to you, to others, to life, to circumstances. I'm this miserable because this person passed in my life. I get to be this way because other people treated my ancestors poorly. I have every right to be mad because of the current administration. No. You have every right to be aware and frustrated, but you are responsible for your own happiness and you are responsible for what happens in your life. So if you're miserable, you're responsible for that. And the judge loves to blame others for things. But once you start to say, there's a gift in here somewhere, might have ugly wrapping paper, but there's a gift in here somewhere. Let me find this. Get curious. Stop being taken hostage by things you learned in the past or by poor messaging. Like, just stop. And the Ho'oponopono, besides being so much fun to say, helps shift from judgment to presence. And it's that presence that has you in your right brain where you can access navigation and putting a plan into place and thinking and completing. That actually doesn't happen in the left brain. I know it gets credit for that, but it doesn't. And you won't it for our emotions to be in a higher frequency and for our spiritual body, literally your vibrant, hello, Vicki, vibration to be raising up. We have to let go and we have to release things. And that includes the belief that someone else is somehow responsible for your life. So let's check in with the soul. What situation in my life is asking for sacred responsibility and not self-blame? I'm asking you. You're going to say this to yourself. What situation in my life is asking for sacred responsibility and not self-blame? By doing that, you'll already be in the loving place. So I've started saying this to my body as I release sugar from my life because, my hands were hurting. As I release that, I've been saying this every time I get a craving. I say this state and I do I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, which I just think is a brilliant combination to say to your body, no matter what's going on in your body. So responsibility without compassion is punishment. This is meant to be empowering, not heavy. Responsibility with love, oh, that is spiritual leadership, my friend. That is lining up with your soul and being in integrity and having that essence that is you flow through your physical self. And you know what else it is? It's less chaotic in the brain. So it will help you get out of mental fog and into that soul aligned clarity. When your soul can't get a word in, when your intuition can't get a word in, it will just become quiet. It's not going to push through the chaos. It's not going to yell for your attention. Intuition's very subtle. And clarity is not overthinking. It's an inner stillness that meets aligned action. So clarity, when it comes in, is still. It doesn't have 100 questions around it. It's still. So let's try this. If you're driving, please don't do this. Or if you're walking or riding your bike when you're listening to this, please don't do this. But I would love when you have time to close your eyes, do a PQ rep, rub our fingers together, feel the softness, feel the ridges. Now let's rub both hands together. Pointer meets pointer, middle meets middle. If you're not able to do that with both hands, your hand comes down to your thigh and you feel the connection there. Ask yourself, what's one next step I know to take, but have been avoiding? Let the answer rise up through you. Don't analyze it. That's the left brain. Let it rise up through you. Let it float to the top. This is you showing up for you. It isn't going to be loud, but it will have a quiet surety to it. It'll have a quiet confidence to it. You don't have to wait for certainty. That's overthinking. When you're like, well, I need to know for certain. Nope, and that's your brain overthinking. You move with clarity instead. You make one change, one step. So when I decided no more sugar, well, not that strict, but no more daily sugar, no more like candy or treats or anything like that. Replaced it with fruit. I just brought fruit into the house, and that's my go-to. So I didn't wait for that point where I was like, absolutely, I'm ready to ditch sugar. Nope. I waited for the clarity that came in and said, well, you love fruit. Why don't you just go buy some fruit? Today will be, what is today? Honeydew melon, I think, is getting ready to pass over. So I need to make sure I eat that today, which will mean it's super sweet, right? So that's my treat. So don't waste time. You're not too late, but you really don't have time to keep playing small and to keep waiting for something else to move before you do. So you have that business idea, take one small step. You don't have to leave your gig that's paying the rent, but take that one small step. Instead of scrolling, create a business plan. You have a product idea, start working on it. You can do that. Your soul came here to create, to love deeply, to stand tall, even if you didn't get height like my family. And it came here to move. It came here to experience. It wants to know the ups, the downs, the sideways, that didn't work, the spinning around, the coming back to it without judgment. And that expression of, oh, time is running out. No, it's not. No, it's not. Time is time. It's inviting you into it. When we come into the present, it feels like time gets extended. It feels like it's longer. When you're always thinking about where you have to be next, and I used to have this head where I would think about the next day or the next appointment or the next thing I had to do, instead of just being fully present with where I am, it expands time. You're like, wow, only an hour has gone past and I fully experienced every minute of it. So what if today was the day you stopped abandoning yourself for the belief that someone else is going to show up or that some solution is going to come along? There's some supplement or magic pill or certain bra or these sneakers are going to make me want to run. If they're the ultras, I believe that I still want to run. My back says no, thank you, but I still want to do it. There is no magic pill when it comes to taking responsibility for your life. It's little by little by little. It will show up. It will show up in the opportunities. It will show up in the conversations. It'll show up in you feeling calm towards yourself because you know that there's no situation where you're not willing to take responsibility. That was a double negative. Then whatever anybody presents to you, you're going to be good with, right? It's like my personal thing I used to tell the kids all the time, and I practice, is don't lie. If you lie, you have to try to remember what you said. If you don't lie, you'll know what it is, what your answer is, or what your response is because you said it earlier. So your sage, your wisdom, your intuition, it all lives in the present. The judge panics about the past and the future. So depression and anxiety, if you're feeling energies like that, you're in your left brain and you're in your judge that's panicking about what might happen. Once you do that practice of rubbing your fingers together or staring at a beautiful color or taking some deep breaths or crunching your toes, whatever you choose to do, you'll come back to now. And that's where your power is. That's where you're plugged in. So the idea that no one is coming and no one's going to save you, it's meant to inspire because this lifetime is yours. It's yours to create. It's yours to write. And I'm so grateful I get to be part of it. And I feel blessed knowing that you're listening to this. And I'm so grateful that I show up here to record these and send them out and hope they help one person hopefully they help thousands, but hopefully they help one person to recognize that you really already have this inside of you. So get your attention to the present and recognize that if you're waiting for something to happen, you are wasting that presence and that time. You got to move your choo-choo booming. So the soul isn't going to wait. The soul's going to go on to the next lifetime and you're just going to have to do it in the next lifetime. But I figure let's get her done now. So I'm so grateful that you now know that you're responsible for your entire existence. That means you get to celebrate. You get to be so proud of yourself and you get to recognize that once you know this, it is a lot less pressure to be a human. And that's what I want for you. And I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next episode. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. If it sparks something, pass it on. And when you're ready to go deeper, I'm just a click away at vickibaird.com. Trust your gut. Quiet the noise. You've got this.